to a GSL.
What's up, guys? Tastes is back here with Artie McTosis for the second day of the semifinals here at the GSL Code S.
That's right, Tasteless McTosis. It is time to see who our other finalist will be. Bill awaits one of these two epic nerds in the finals, and it is going to be a good finals no matter what. But will it be a ZVZ? Or will it be a PvZ?
Less likely it'll be a ZVZ. Curious has a tough match here against Rain.
We keep saying that, and he keeps winning.
Yeah, you beat me to what I was going to say. I mean, the thing about Curious is that he keeps killing everybody. We don't expect him to get this far, and here he is in the semifinals. We could have another upset again.
You know, I'm wondering how he keeps doing that.
Are you curious about it?
No, I'm just wondering
Oh,
about
okay.
it.
No puns there.
No. What? Oh, because his name is Curious.
Dude,
Tasteless.
I think this could actually be a very one-sided semifinals, by the way.
You think so?
I think so. I hope it's not. I want it to go to the last game. Obviously, these guys have had a lot of time to prepare for this match. And, you know, for Curious, this is a really big deal, not just because it's the semifinals of a GSL, but if he loses here, there's a chance he is forced into retirement.
Yeah, he could retire coming up pretty soon. I think he'll probably just stay for a little bit. Like, I'm not sure when he's looking to join the Army. He is going
Well, I mean,
to
here's the thing. If he doesn't retire now, it would be weird, right, if he kept playing? Because we have another GSL Code A coming up after this, and then a Code S. And
well, he doesn't even need to play in Code A.
That's true. But then, see, if he stayed a pro gamer for a while, then there's not as many tournaments going on in Korea for him to compete in. I don't know. We'll see. Still, though, a lot's on the line here. If Curious does lose, that could be it. This could be the last time we cast him.
Rain could drop kick him into retirement. That is a fact. But I don't know. I think after you get a round of 4, like even if he dies here today terribly.
Say, okay, I've actually been top 4 in the world. Maybe I should keep playing.
Yeah. Like,
how old is Curious, by the way?
I don't know. I think age doesn't mean anything to the Tosis.
I believe he's one of our older pro gamers, so that's also something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I'm sure he's
By the way, just for the people that don't know, if you're an able-bodied Korean man, you have to do 2 years of military service, and that's what we're talking about with forced retirement. We do not see pro gamers return from the military and be in the same form that they were before. So
yeah, you can't just pick it back up. The game is too hard.
Yeah, the meta's changed, and there's a bunch of young guys that don't have to or have not had to serve their military service yet. So
you got creaky elbows, you know.
You got bad knees.
That's it.
That was it, man. Slayer's boxer. He's a great player, but the guy's got shit knees, man.
You know, it's
So here's what we have so far. Biel 4-2'd SOS. I was actually expecting SOS to win there.
Yeah, it was a really great series. It was really close. There was like multiple games on each side that could have gone the other way multiple times. So it was actually, I thought it was pretty close for a 4-2 for sure.
Let's see if today is going to be close at all. I hope it is. Rain versus Curious.
I think Rain's going to 4-2 him.
Think so?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Actually, I would basically go with that prediction as well.
4-2 sounds
Curious
right.
should take a few games off of Rain, but Rain is such a dynamic player. He's so good at his defense. This guy is basically the most conservative Protoss player that's been in top form ever.
Yeah.
Most Protoss players are a bit more aggressive.
He is the master of defense.
Cheese more. This guy plays Protoss like it's Terran in Brood War or something. He's just very reactive, very patient, and that makes it tough. Let's take someone like Curious, for instance. Who's he going to be able to prepare with to get ready for this match?
자, 오늘 마지막 영광의 주인공이 탄생합니다. 오늘 4강 2경기에 나서는 정윤종 선수와 이원표 선수 바로 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
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 네. 자, 4강 2경기입니다. 오늘 경기 나서는 소감부터 들어볼 텐데요. 정윤종 선수
So how do you feel? You're now in the semifinals. It's been a while.
우선 지금도 좀 네, 한 경기면 결승 진출이긴 한데
네.
근데 아직도 좀 실감이 안
Well, I've
나고
only got one match left to then go into the finals once again.
준비는 열심히 했으니까 네, 이제
I
하늘에
feel that I
맡겨야 될 것 같아요.
prepared well.
네.
And
자,
then I'm
이원표
ready.
선수 오늘 이 한 걸음만 더 가면 결승입니다. 소감 어떠세요?
참 여기까지 올라가기 참 많이 어려웠는데
네.
It's been a really hard road to get
오늘도
here to the
쉽지 않을
semifinals.
거라고는 생각하고 왔어요 사실. 근데
And today will be another
그렇기
difficult match for
때문에
me.
오늘 이기고 올라가게 된다면은
네.
진짜로 많이 기쁠 것 같아요.
I'm going to be really happy if I'm able to advance to the finals.
그리고 정윤종 선수의 버프까지 갖고 오셨어요. 오늘 만나니까
I like
좋으세요?
his double-handed mic
좋진
technique.
않아요.
자, 정윤종 선수 테란 5번 올라오셨는데 저그전은 처음이에요. 어떠세요?
네.
You defeated a lot of Terrans to get to the
그래서 연습을
semifinals,
할
but
때
this is your
좀
first time
감각이
going up
많이
against
떨어져서
Zerg. How do you feel?
걱정했는데
네.
그래도 레더에서도 저그전이
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've played a Zerg in a broadcasted match, but my ladder record for Zerg is quite good.
이원표 선수가 생각보다 잘하시더라고요.
So I prepared well.
찾아봤는데
And
그래서 오늘 좀 힘들 것
although Curious is a very strong
네.
opponent, he's actually stronger than I thought he was going to be. I've been studying up on his VODs.
좋겠습니다.
이원표 선수는
He says it's all in God's hands now.
만족하세요?
저는 뭐 팀원들하고 안에서 열심히 준비했고요.
네.
저도 오늘은
My
그냥
teammates helped me a lot in preparation
준비는
for
열심히
today.
했고
네.
그냥 최대한 열심히 하고
So I feel very prepared for today's match. I'm going to do my best to win.
보여주자. 그리고 그냥 저도
And I'm
결과를
going to do my
바꾼다는
best
생각으로
to show some great
왔거든요.
performance for my fans that are going to be watching.
오늘
I also think this matter is in God's hands.
잘해가지고 올라갔으면 좋겠어요.
네, 두 분이 생각하는 예상 스코어는 어떨지 또 궁금해지는데
On to
정윤종
the score
선수는
predictions.
어떻게 될
Rain,
것
what do you think the
같으세요?
results are going to be?
그냥 이기던 지던 4대2 나올 것 같아요.
4대1.
Whether I win or lose,
박빙
I think it's
승부
going to be
정도가 될 것
4-2.
같은데 이원표 선수는 어떠세요?
I think I said that.
저는 이기고 싶은 스코어는 4대 1인데
네.
저도 뭐
I wanna
제가
win 4-1.
이기거나 지거나 저도 4대 2 정도를 생각하고 왔어요.
근데 박준영 해설이
But no matter who wins, I think Rain's right. It is going to be a
하셨는데
4-2.
약간 패의 느낌이 그동안
heard you say
강했거든요. 어떠세요? 불안하진
So
않으세요?
JYP actually said, that's our Cranecaster, JYP said that he thought Curious would advance today. How do you feel about that,
약간 좀
Curious?
이상한 사람 같은데 왜 저를 찍었는지 모르겠어요.
자,
I don't know why
오늘
he
4강
selected me.
2경기,
I think he's a weird
2경기처럼
guy.
멋진 경기력 기대하고 있습니다. 오늘 경기 시작하기 전에 두 선수 서로 훈훈한 덕담 한마디씩 나눠보도록 하죠. 먼저 이원표 선수가
Any final
정윤종
comments you want to say to
선수한테
each other
해볼까요?
before we start this match?
제가 이번에 올라가게 되면 결승을 처음 올라가는 거라서
네.
저도 한번 고기 한번
So
먹어보고
if I
싶은
advance
마음이
today, this is
있어서
going to be my first time in the
이번엔
finals.
제가 한번
I
고기 한번
really want to advance this time around.
정윤종 선수는 경험이
And I think this is the best opportunity for me yet, so I really hope it's me today.
정윤종 선수
And what about you,
답해주시죠.
Rain? What do you have to say before the
네,
match?
모든 사람들까지는 아니고 대다수의 사람들이
네.
이원표 선수가 올라가면 저저라서 네, 재미없을 거라고 생각해가지고
A lot of people would not like to see a
이원표
ZVZ
선수가 모든
finals,
분들의
so
뜻을
I think it's
담아서
my duty
네,
to
좀
win
살살
this.
해줬으면 좋겠습니다.
I'm going to win this here today and make it a ZVP final.
자, 이렇게
That's
오늘
better
경기에 나서는
TV.
두 선수의 한마디까지
Rain, such a
Rain
show
doing it
off.
for the show.
저희가 경기가
one
끝난
hand on the
이후에는
mic.
저희가 또 추첨을 통해서
Yeah.
특별한 선물을 드리죠. 2015년
But Curious is
여름
going for the
스레미의
double
새로운
hander here.
아쿠아 슈즈 카미노 블랙
And the winner gets to sign these shoes, I've just been informed, and hand these out to the fans. Artosis, that looks like it's your shoe size right there.
Oh my gosh.
자, 그럼 오늘 4강 2경기에 나서는 선수들의
I better get down in
데이터부터
the audience.
확인해보겠습니다.
When Curious wins, I'm like, I don't want these. Well, sure to be an epic match, Tasteless.
Yeah, let's see what Curious has got to offer. These guys, again, had a lot of time to prepare. I do feel that Rain is the harder person to prepare against. You don't get many Protosses that play as conservatively as Rain does. I mean, Rain cheeses like, I'd say like less than 10% of the time.
Yeah, he
which
doesn't
is
do too much.
crazy. I mean,
too much
I think
sugar.
SOS is cheesing about 65% of the time. And you know, normally we see people cheesing a good amount with Protoss. Rain just doesn't do that. He plays very solid defensive. He gets the good unit comp in the late game and just wins. Curious has been known to be pretty aggressive as a Zerg player. So let's see what he's got here. Can Curious beat Rain early with aggression? I don't think so. But
Yeah,
I would love to
think
be
so.
I would love to be proven wrong here.
But can he beat him? Yeah, I think it's possible. Luckily for Curious, he's not a Terran because Rain doesn't lose to those anymore.
Yeah. That is important to note. He
Decided
crushed
he had
a lot
that
of
match
Terrans to get
figured.
here. Yeah.
Let's take
So
a
our
look.
map lineup.
Ooh.
Deadwing, Expedition Lost, King Sejong Station, Merry-Go-Round, Overgrowth, Iron Fortress, and Bonnie Research Station.
Okay, pretty cool. That's kind of an exciting map 7 because we get some really weird games on there sometimes with gold bases and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at probably a 4-2. But Iron Fortress, like if Rain's gonna win this, he might want to take a 4-1 here, Tasteless. That Iron Fortress can be a tough one. But
Yeah,
this should be quite good. I'm excited, truly excited about this match. Rain, definitely a Protoss that you want to study if you want to become a good, solid macro player.
This is the guy. If you're somebody who's laddering a lot in StarCraft right now and you're playing Protoss and you really want to get a play style that's going to be consistent, that's going to let you climb the ranks, Rain is your guy.
Well, we'll be getting into that pretty quickly here.
You want to watch Rain play, you want to listen to Artosis talk about mech and how he likes defensive play, and you're going to be the best player you can be.
I hope he makes some Protoss mech units.
And you got to eat your mechios in the morning.
Your mechios,
yeah.
It's very important.
This thing's so funny to me.
When someone's like eating cinnamon mech crunch in the morning, I'm like, what?
You can't eat cinnamon mech crunch is bad for you, man.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to the studio, guys. Thanks for coming down. It is going to be a good day. For those of you guys at home, you can always come down to the studio. You're welcome here. Unless the building's closed, then don't come into the studio when we've locked it up. But other than that, come down here anytime,
they can't.
guys.
We have big steel doors that lock.
We do.
And you guys don't have the key card.
That's true. In fact, not even we have the key card. We don't even have the key card because we only come here when the studio's open as well. So.
Yeah, that's true.
There's been a couple times where Tosis and I have been at the bar, and I look at him and I say, you know, I want to go just down to the studio and fire up the old cast and just cast out a few games.
Tasteless does that a lot, guys.
It's been a little bit. I wouldn't mind just casting a little bit.
Yeah.
Dan says, you know what the hell? Let's go to the studio.
If we had the key card, I'm sure we'd open it up and like the makeup ladies live there and the cameramen are just sleeping in chairs.
They come out of coffins, actually.
No doubt, no doubt.
So as you can see, Rain has done incredibly against Zerg. Although most of the people he was against were Terrans previously in this tournament. He is 8-2 against Zergs, which is obviously quite good. Yeah. No shame in losing a Rogue and Sulky either.
Yeah, a lot of these are from foreign events that he has flown over to with my insanity. But so don't take it too out of proportion. Curious hasn't flown as much. So you know it says 8-2, but I'm not going to count that Benny Betty Vici win.
This guy, such a talented player. It's interesting that we do have a Protoss player who's this consistently good, who is this conservative and defensive.
Well, this is, I think that Protoss is actually more like Terran from StarCraft 1 than Terran is. So it makes sense that people are figuring out these very defensive, very safe styles about macroing up, getting your upgrades and whatnot, and winning in a long game. And Rain is by far the best at that. Now, that is not to say that he can't be aggressive. He has very sharp blink timing attacks. And I absolutely think we will see some of that today. Now his opponent curious here. You know, what a story it would be if he made it to the finals, but it would give us a ZVZ finals. And we've had some real ZVZ slugfests in the finals of GSL Taste. We've had Lucira versus Nesty, where Nesty was able to 4-0 his teammate, his younger teammate, and then let's not forget the final series in
That's like a 4-6.
That's pretty crazy.
I saw that and I just gave Artosis this stare like, man, I did not know Curious's record was this poor.
Well, the level of player that we see here that he was against is people like Hero. Terminator, Myungshik, Super. These are some of the best PvZers in the game. So, again, don't take these little blurbs of stats that seriously,
Stats can be very misleading.
Yeah, you have to really take it all stats.
I don't think we've ever had stats for a semifinals that look this bad.
Curious's stats overall are not really that fantastic.
Yeah, it's been off and on for him. I mean, he's winning here in the GSL, but still, if he gets to the finals, that is history in the making, man. We've been casting Curious for 4 years, guys. He's now here in the semifinals. He is just one best of 7 away from possibly going on to the grand finals of the GSL. I mean, when you win a GSL, I mean, you basically did it. You were the greatest player in the world on that day.
Yeah, absolutely the case. You know, I do want to say that no matter what happens with Curious, whether he falls out here or he goes on to win the whole thing, I think just to be funny, we should make him play in Code next season. So make him feel at home, you know?
Yeah, this is the king of Code A. Always getting knocked out of the GSL, forced to try to go through the Code A tournament. Yeah, and he always made it out of Code A back into Code S, but was not getting deep in GSL Code S.
Well, he's made it deep this time to Aceless. Let's see if he can make it a bit deeper. Deadwing gonna be our first map. This one definitely could be a nice macro game.
Certainly could be. Could be one of our longer games here. It is now lit up. Guys, tell your friends to tune in here. Rain against Curious at best of 7. The winner is going to go on to the finals here in the most sought-after championship tournament in the world, the GSL Code S. It's going to be sick. And let's see, Curious the underdog here, but we've seen some David versus Goliath matches here before in GSL. Upsets do occur.
GSL.
In the upper left in the red, he is
My Insanity Rain.
in the bottom right in the blue. He is
SBENU Curious.
Minerals and supplies several times there. His eyes darting back and forth to the top right corner of that screen.
Yeah.
All right. So, looks like Rain wants to go Nexus first.
Also, keep in mind, guys, Bjol is watching this. So Rain has to really, deliver and win here, but then also have a play style that Bjol is not going to be able to just counter. So Bjol, it's Rain in, I think, a very interesting spot. If Curious wins here, the matchup Zerg versus Protoss no longer matters. It's all about his ZVZ.
Yeah.
Or his Rain,
Very, very
there's
true.
a bit more pressure on him here.
Yeah, he'll have to, bring something somewhat new at least into the next round. No doubt about that.
Oh, bonjour. Thank you for coming down, guys. Actually, a good number of people here in the studio today.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Well, by the way, here from Curious, opening up with something a little bit aggressive, going for a speed first, and notice how Rain scouted after the pylon.
Yeah.
He wanted to go Nexus first. He didn't find his opponent, so he made the Forge. And that's a good counter to this.
Yeah.
Like, he will be safe. He is not going to take any damage.
Yeah, the builds get a little bit wonky if you don't find the Zerg too quickly. You have to make a few adjustments to make sure that you're actually safe against anything. Fast expanding in StarCraft for Protoss was not figured out for years after the game was out. It was actually in the later part of Brood War that people eventually figured out, oh, I guess you really can actually do this.
Yeah.
And it's good. Before, Protosses were always on one base, and seriously, when people started fast expanding, when you would practice with them, a lot of people would say, I don't want to play against you, you're cheesing. This is not good practice. This is not a legitimate build.
The first person that started doing it that I played with a lot was White Raw, and I was so angry. I was like, no, White Raw, this isn't real.
Yeah.
This isn't going to stay around.
No, I remember I was going Nexus first against Terran, and people were like, this can't possibly work, but you could actually get away with it.
You should have seen the amount of different rushes I devised to kill White Raw with. It was just, I rejected it for months.
No,
I was like, no, White Raw,
this is so stupid. How can you get a Nexus first? And then against Zerg as well. I mean, it seemed absurd, right? Like,
I was like, listen, asshole, you know I'm going to figure this out, right? Because I was like the rudest. Even to White Raw, I was so rude back then, man.
Yeah,
never did figure it out. It was a real build.
No, it's pretty crazy. And against Zergs, what happened was then you have people figured out that you could actually cannon rush into a fast expand, which is when people really started getting crazy. Because the cannon rush was, in fact, the very, very, very first Brood War tournament that Blizzard had was won with a cannon rush.
That's sick.
Yeah, and and since it's always been like a joke, if you don't take somebody seriously, why don't you just cannon rush them? Well, eventually the game got so figured out, people realized, oh, you can actually legitimately cannon rush somebody who'd be really good at it, and then expand off the back of that, and then they're really screwed.
Speaking of which, do you think we'll see any cannon rushes from Rain today?
I don't think so. Rain doesn't normally do that, but Rain obviously has to mix it up. That's how you're going to win a best of 7, is you have to be a little bit unpredictable. And out of all the players that we have in GSL, Rain is probably the most predictable.
He is definitely pretty predictable.
Yeah, he's up there in predictability. So
he's not as predictable as, let's say, Flash, but he's very, very predictable.
Yeah. Well, Flash has been cheesing a bit now and then.
Yeah, but even that's predictable with Flash.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
There's like a mathematical code for how much he cheeses. But,
well, on some maps, you would be foolish to not consider cannon rushing. I mean, it's so strong.
Sure. This is actually one of them that you really would consider. He didn't want to do it this time, which is fine. But looks like he is going to go into Oracle. Everything looking all right for him. Of course, Curious double expanding off of this speed build that didn't do anything for him. So a little bit annoying for Curious. Like you have to give a slight edge to Rain, but it's not. We'll see if it turns into being a big deal. Oh, already some spores on the way.
And, yeah, let's see how much damage this Oracle can actually do. This is not as dramatic as some other builds we've seen where they might put the Oracle, or the Stargate rather, just outside the Zerg's base. This is, again, Rain just going for a very standard build. The Oracle, even if it doesn't get many drone kills, it can always be used to scout. And occasionally there are some rushes we see where they get a bunch of stalkers, for instance, and push out and use the Oracle as an observer, basically.
Oh, yeah, actually, you're quite right about that.
And we might have that this game here.
Could be. We do have a second Oracle that just popped out, which I wasn't really expecting. But, with that, he's very safe again. He might have that just to make sure that he can take his third base while continuing to scout and trying to harass. Yeah, it looks like that might be the case. I think he left the other Oracle at home, right? So, just to check on that. Yeah. He doesn't want a bunch of speedlings coming in and making him cancel that third base. That would be really, really bad. But so far, not really a lot of damage done yet.
Well, he did damage that extractor. He's been
yeah, he bruised that thing up good, didn't he?
Luckily, that extractor heals, so...
Extractor's like, ouch, 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 ouch. No one ever thinks of the extractor. That spore is not even covered. That's only covering your drones.
What about me? I was a drone before, but I'm still a living thing.
Yeah, I don't need nutrients from the creep like the rest of the living buildings, but come on.
Well, we have Curious. It looks like he's going to invest into the late game here, getting plus attack, plus armor.
Ooh. Yeah, I like it on Circlings.
Yeah, cool. Now he's going to Roach for him, but clearly he's not going to use Roaches as the backbone to win.
I think he's going to go straight into Aspire here.
I think so. I think you go Ling Muta, control the map, and then you can even tech into Ultras later on or something like that.
I was just going to say, if he goes directly Infestation Pit, I like that more than Aspire.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's a very good point.
That's cool.
Because if you just get some good fungals off and you have mass Lings, especially on this map, because if you look at the positioning, it's cross spots, so there's a huge area in the middle of the map that you can get a surround on, which really makes force fields pretty much useless.
And you know what? This can do multiple things too. He doesn't necessarily need to use Infestors, although I would love to see some of those. Like, rushing up to Hive isn't bad. Like, remember Dark Swarm plus Zergling? Like, how good that could be against Protoss?
Yeah.
Blinding Cloud is not too different from Dark Swarm. It's different, yeah, but I mean, some of the same things can apply. I wouldn't mind seeing him get some Vipers, but I really want to see Ultralisks this game. That would be fantastic.
Well, there's that Spire coming here.
Yeah.
You could really get greedy as Zerg in these spots on this map especially. The fourth base is pretty much impossible for Protoss to deny, and we see Curious taking that now. And this is a game where neither player can really touch the other one for a little while here. It's just unwise. By the time you push out, when you get to their base, if you were to push out, they just have a bigger army than you because of the travel time it takes you to get down there.
This build seems really meta to me, by the way. The fact that he's going like Ling Infestor. Yeah, we've still seen this from time to time, but like, for instance, Colossus is very unpopular right now because of how quickly people go to Vipers normally.
Yeah.
That you just don't want it. You want to get High Templars instead. But like here, normally what you would do is you get Colossus, and that's why Ling and Fester would just never work, because they're like, well, I have a Colossus herp derp, the Lings are all dead.
Well, you know, it's
and he doesn't have that here.
I like what you're saying here. That's definitely always been a way to beat a good Protoss. Oh, hold on. Look at that in a second.
Handsome play right there. I love it.
Oh,
well,
whoa, we have another attack over here. It just caught the tail end of this warp in.
and they're about to have +2, and when they do, those Zerglings are, well, I mean, they're already kind of dead because there's so many Zealots, but the 1/1 Zerglings will not hold up against +2 Zealots, that's for sure.
Nice surround here. Yeah, these Zealots not doing as much as he would have wanted. So while this harass is going on, this has always been a great way to beat good Protoss players. That's really hurting my brain seeing those two Zealots not attack right now. I actually, okay.
You want them to attack so bad.
I really want that one in the back to do something I don't.
He's doing something now, Tasis. Dying.
So, if you mix up your unit compositions against Protosses, sometimes you'll just blindside somebody. Thinking, wait a minute, he didn't. You know, if you notice, he made a Roach Warren, he never made Roaches. Which I think that was there all for looks, guys.
Yeah, I think it's like a kind of a safety precaution. Like, if you need Roaches, you now have the Roach Warren and Roach Speed.
And it doesn't cost much to make, but
no, totally.
You know, somebody who's going to be on top of scouting, such as Rain, is going to see that and immediately, you know, get the tools necessary to stop Roaches. So, pretty smart play here from Curious, but if he's not able to deal with the unit comp that his opponent has, he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. Rain is taking a 4th base, important to note here.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that Curious will be able to contest that. So this is kind of going into a weird area right now. Neither player can really full-on attack the other one.
I love this.
And we should end up in, like, what is basically a crazy endgame. Well, you know, hold up. He's going to move out here?
Yeah, it looks like he wants to.
The thing is, sometimes Protosses do this and they just go right back because they want to scare the guy. Or get him out of position here.
He does have Psystorm and High Templars, so he actually can move out right now. And it's a good time because it's right before the high tech is really going to kick in. But I'm telling you, this game already is really great because Curious is actually going for Supreme late game here. Like, he is going into Rain's quote-unquote territory and saying, let's do this. But Rain trying to come in and get him before he actually gets this tech. He does have that Ultralisk Cavern finish. Is starting his very first Ultralisk, and he's teching right up into Broodlord, which can be a great endgame tech against Protoss, but the games are really long when you go Broodlord.
Now, these Zealots, it's kind of funny. The Lings actually handle the Zealots so easily because they can surround and deal so much damage. You know, Roaches have a little bit of a harder time catching up to the Zealots when you're doing harass like this. But with Ling's speed, I mean, this is no problemo.
Ooh! Some of these units actually way out of position here.
Yeah, not even need to fungal that there. Now that was a nice poke into that base, but not as much damage. What's so funny?
Stargate. All right, like Rain is realizing.
Beacon. You mean the Fleet Beacon?
Yeah, well, Stargate, and then when I laughed at the Stargate because I knew a Fleet Beacon would come. But like it makes sense because he's backing up now. Like Curious, his whole plan in this game was not to kill Rain. It was to go to absolute supreme late game, and like this is such a brave and awesome thing to do because we are cross-map, so it seems like Zerg should be able to do that, but if there's one Protoss you might not want to do it against...
It's Rain.
Yeah, but Curious is actually saying, I can beat you heads up.
At your own game.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see.
Now remember, the sentries are much, actually basically useless if Ultralisks are out.
Yeah, they are not. They're not useful,
Guardian
that's for
Shield
sure.
guys also not that handy against Ultralisks and Zerglings.
Not too much.
Not too much. So, Rain is having to reconfigure his unit comp here. He's going to get more Archons and try to deal with this head on. Now, the 5th base is being taken, so we're basically at endgame here. We have Tempest being made. Guys.
I agree that we're at the end game as far as tech goes, but I think that this game is going to be close to 40 minutes.
Look at this. It's a Mothership Core. What is this, 2011? Oh, my God.
This is fantastic because, like, and let's not forget that back in the day when Broodlord and Fester was a thing, Curious was actually one of the best Zergs at it.
That is a good point. There
Didn't
was a whole
make it
era.
deep in Code S, but we all knew he was one of the best at it.
Yeah, and you can bring this kind of style into play here if you manage to get this deep into a game. Now, I will say Broodlord and Fester is very unforgiving, specifically on this map and these spots. It's really hard to push.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it takes. This should be an extremely long game.
You basically, I don't even know if you should push. You know, if you theorize.
Pretty much no.
I think you're probably you could throw the whole game away if you do push with this. So this might be a game where Curious is going to try to take advantage of the fact that it's easier for Zerg to take bases out and about on the map than it is for Protoss. And kind of win in a resource war. Damn, that was a good storm on those legs, man.
Well, so some of the like rules of these hive techs that we're seeing out of him, because like a lot of people right now are very used to still the old Swarm host style. We're like, okay, we all get how that plays out, but like with Ultralisk-based armies, you basically want to stay on creep. That's what he like kind of started with, and now that he's on Broodlord, you can never leave your Broodlords undefended. You have to play like a really long game because you can't just attack your opponent because he'll outmaneuver you and kill you. So like, this game should go extremely long, and we should see him tighten up all of his defense everywhere.
Well, I think Rain is actually fine with what's going on in this game. Because Infestor Broodlord is literally the most immobile thing that you could do as Zerg. I guess people were making Storm Hosts and just making spine crawlers and stuff. I guess that was a little bit less mobile, but because this is so immobile, you can actually start to harass the Zerg pretty easily with the Zealots.
Yeah, absolutely the case, and that's where he wants to throw his minerals, is into stuff like that. Like throwing away a bunch of Zealots to kill that hatchery, very, very worth it. Now he is starting to target down here on another hatchery.
By the way, if you guys are watching this and you're ever asking yourself the question, isn't it wasteful to send all those Zealots out there to try to kill stuff if you don't get your value out of them? Actually, no, because the minerals are not as important as the gas in this phase of the game. So you can. It's called a mineral dump, basically. You just have these extra minerals. You don't know what to do with them. Let's throw some Zealots out there, see if they do anything. If they do damage, great. If they don't, it's okay.
And I also want to mention that it's kind of a tempo-based move, that even though you're being cost inefficient here, you realize that a Zerg player going for this unit composition needs to play a very long game. So you're kind of gaining tempo by keeping their base count down so that they can't refill their ultimate army when you throw everything you have into it.
Denial of hatcheries and expansions with Zerg can script tempo so much. Sometimes a Zerg will just lose because he had to cancel a base or something as simple as that.
He's continuing with some very nice harassment with these Zealots. Going to take out that Ultra's Cavern. The Ultra's run back. No, our house!
Our cavern! And it looks like he's actually going to get the Spire over here as well. So that's actually pretty annoying to lose that.
In the meantime, Rain continuing to make a whole bunch of Tempests.
Oh, wow, he's going to get this too. Oh, nope, Transfuse is good.
Nope, he's got it. Right? Oh, that was so close. Another swipe. Okay, so right now we see like a lot of Tempests being made, which is kind of funny because Sky Toss, like people were trying it a lot against Swarm Hosts. And it didn't quite work. By the end of the Swarm Host whole thing, before they got nerfed, basically people stopped going like pure Sky Toss against Zerg. And part of that, I think, is because the amount of micro you need with them against all those locusts always coming in can be very annoying.
Yeah, but Tempests also don't attack that fast.
Yeah, they're very slow.
Obviously the free units. And by the way, he needs to get rid of these Immortals.
Yeah.
Because he's maxed out, and these Immortals are not that helpful. So I guess he's going to try to move around the map and just snipe a hatchery. This is so funny. I hope this works.
This is kind of similar to what the Ultras are doing. He knows the Ultras are pretty worthless.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, let me do something with these Ultras right now.
So this phase of the game, it's all about getting different unit comps up here. They both. Okay, wait, hold on. Does this actually work?
I think he spread them. I think he gets it 100%. Yeah, it looks like he does.
I think he still gets it no matter what. How annoying!
Yeah, that was reasonable for them. He really didn't want those anymore.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really want these anymore. Oh, but he has a detector. I love it.
All right, now that Ultras is going to be turned into oatmeal, and this game will go on. Again, it's both players with pretty immobile armies here. Broodlords are not fast, and if you go out on the map and you attack with the Broodlords and you fail, you probably lost the game.
Yeah, these guys are like just.
And the problem for also for Rain here is if he moves out with the Tempests, Zerg just goes around the army and attacks his base. Now, yes, he can recall back there, but it's still an issue. Now, if this game goes on for an even longer period of time, what Protoss needs to do is make an insane amount of cannons.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when you see your friend who's played StarCraft and he's a total noob, you know, and he has like just 15 cannons at his base, you actually need to do that. You have to just have a comical amount of cannons.
Yeah, that's
that
late game
unnecessary-
theory gets really weird, especially with Swarmhost gone now, because
Yeah.
like the cannon thing wasn't that good with Swarmhost, but
No, it's
Broodlords
not.
have to get too close to actually kill them. So,
Yeah, and you can pretty much deny counterattacks
Yeah.
here.
by the way, curious at 207 supply of 200.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, you can just make Spore Crawlers and then make a few more attacking units and then cancel it. I knew that at least one nerd out there watching, I just blew his mind.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh! He's on the forum right now being like, does that mean Zerg is the best race? Nah, man.
I'm like, well, yeah, it does. We already have a Zerg in the finals. So. And, well, this is, I mean, I love this type of game, man, because right now you look at the way that they're both doing, the way they're both getting ready, like more static D, more bases, little harassment moves like this, throwing away units that aren't good in the composition anymore, continuing to get every single upgrade.
Now,
I just love it.
This is actually the most important building to get at this phase of the game. If you get the Hive and you get any other
Oh,
tech,
it's so annoying.
that actually could be the window that Protoss can move out and attack you because, okay, so he's going to lose the Infestation Pit unless he remade that somewhere. Let's say he gets the Ultralisk Cavern, for instance, or the Spire even. I mean, then no more Broodlords. So
Yeah, he needs to get another. He immediately starts a new layer so that he can just get right back up to that.
Yep.
But he already had, yeah, he has the Greater Spire and he has the Ultros Cavern still, I believe. Actually, he didn't remake the Ultros Cavern, but the thing is he doesn't need Ultras ever again. The Ultras were for crushing any attacks that came into him while he got ready for Ultimate Army, and that's why he threw them away. Like, he still has a couple, but like the other two were literally just thrown away because he's like, okay, this is too much supply. The phase of these being a good unit is over.
Okay, he's going to push out here. This is going to be insane, man.
This is awesome. All right, well, this is... Look at all these... now, he
I
has
think
a
it's been a
side
while
storm against this.
Oh, yeah, side
But he
storm
doesn't have his... Yeah, he didn't have Cloak on that.
Oh, my God, that was sick.
Very nice pulls right there.
And then the Zerg's like, oh, my God, Tempests are pretty good. We got to get out of here.
All right, does take out that detection there. Actually, an Observer somehow living through all that. Still in range of detection.
Yeah.
He's like sitting right out of the attack range of a Spore. I'm like, well, come on, Corruptors. Target much curious. Well, another nice Zealot warp in. Those two Ultras really doing their best to clean that up.
And so, attack at this point is more important than it looks. We know the minerals are being depleted there, but that's actually the point he's hitting is the rally point. If he pushes this in a little bit more, this is actually the rally point for the rest of the Zerg ground forces come at him. Again, very difficult situation for both players because if you lose this army, which is very easy to do, much easier than it looks, you have lost the game.
Yeah.
It takes, we're at the 30-minute marker now in this game. It takes about that long to get an army like this.
It takes
Most
a
games
really
are
long
not
time.
this long at all.
Well, and
So this is, I guess what we call supreme end game, like late game here. They can make every type of unit. They have, as you can see here, they have excess minerals and gas because the game caps you at 200 supply. It is pretty crazy. It also gets a little bit weird here. How many workers do you want versus the size of your army?
yeah.
Because if you, let's say you had, like, for instance, these about 70 probes here. Let's say Rain sacked 30 of those probes. He could then make a bigger army. That's many more Tempests,
That
for
is
instance.
true, but you have to be so careful about having money to replace because
Exactly.
there are situations where, based upon how a battle goes, you replace with different units. Like, you may need to replace with ground units. Like, what if you and Zerg kill each other's armies? Right? Now, if you make a bunch of ground units and they make a bunch of Broodlords, they're going to win that. But, like, let's say that you try to make all Tempests that take a long time, and then they just make Zerglings and Roaches and attack. Then they're going to get, like, a big advantage on bases.
And another thing to keep in mind here is, let's say Protoss does lose his army. What does he do? He has to go, I think, Zealot Archon immediately.
Maybe it matters, I think, in a lot of ways. Like, if he were to just lose this whole thing, I think he needs to go Zealot Stalker to like run around the map and just use
actually,
ultimate
I like that too.
portability.
Whoa!
Wow, that's a lot of side storms going down.
Sure this computer can handle this much stuff on the screen.
Well, we do have some fungals going off. Not the sickest fungals. A lot of side storms though, hitting quite a few corruptors.
Not entirely sure what's happening underneath the Tempest, but in the air right now, it looks like there might be enough corruptors to actually push through this.
Corruption all over everything. He does have to recall. Doesn't target down the mothership in time there.
Yeah, that was actually a misplay. He should have immediately gone for the mothership because if he gets that, he probably wins the game. So Rain has returned home to lick his wounds, but I mean the Zerg, I believe, can push into the left or. I almost used the word. I almost said left turn, like the left turn bases, like that's
left turn is a fine word.
It's a fine word on the left turn side of the map over here.
Well, look at this. He's making void rays. They make a bit quicker there, and they're actually going to do very, very well here because there are so many corruptors that have been made.
I think should he have attacked there earlier? Could he have actually done that? I think he could have gotten over there. The mothership core went back to the second base. The left turn base is vulnerable. This is actually kind of
I think he's trying to go for the heart. He's saying, okay, you're rebuilding your air army.
I think that's a mistake. I think he should actually get the expansions. Let's see though.
Yeah, I think he should be playing in. Well, I think he might be going just for the throat because so much harassment has happened to him. Like, look at him. He's barely mining at this point. I think he realized the game's pretty much over if he can't finish.
Okay, now the Void Rays make this much more difficult.
Yeah.
You know, an interesting note is he could make a mass links here and probably just take. Oh wait, hold up. Okay, look at we don't have a shot of this, but on the mini map, everything for Zerg is dying.
Yeah.
It's actually,
and that's why he's attacking into the heart. He's just like, well, you know, if I don't win this here, I don't have the economy to go back to.
If Curious loses his army, he has no infrastructure.
With this many Void Rays, there's just no possibility. Like, he lost.
Rain actually won this.
He only had 2 infestors left after that battle, so you know, if he still had an economy going, I don't think that this attack occurs. Like, maybe he does hit an expansion.
GG.
Definitely doesn't attack down the center, though. So, at the end of the day, Curious not quite defending well enough against the Zealot harassment.
I got bad news for you. I've been drinking your coffee. I'm putting my coffee over here.
You're a bad friend.
I'm sorry. I was like, finish this. I'm like, man, this is. Well, all right. I'm sorry, your coast, I guess.
You're a bad man.
I am. I like that shirt Legend has on.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go and take it from him and put it on, just like you drank my coffee?
Sorry, man.
Well, anyways, that was a really cool game. I like that Curious tried to bring it into that ultimate late game. The harassment was a little bit too much for him. He got 3 mutas early on to chase around warp prisms, but he wasn't quite on top of that enough. If he had denied all those Zealot Orphans, like, even if Rain didn't lose the minerals on him, the whole game looks differently. Like, if he can actually secure 5 bases constantly without losing buildings all the time, that would have been, you know, it would have looked different.
You got to give Curious credit. That's a pretty ballsy move to go try to beat Rain in his own game. Conservative, you know, play, going into the late game, getting that ultimate unit composition. Rain handled it very, very well. Curious, I think, could have won this had he gotten that mothership core, by the way, back there. Had he sniped that and won that fight. Yeah.
He was low enough on corruptors. I think it's almost a trade because he had like 16 or 17 bruised ones against 11.
But the thing is, okay, but he can produce corruptors out of his base, and Tempests are slow. So even if he's losing that, he still just makes more, and they pop out and they kill him. Protoss can't reinforce that at all, or retreat from that without the mothership core.
I agree you should have killed that. I just don't know if it would have won.
Well, I think from there, it's like, you mean, you might be right? Like, maybe he can't push across, but like that definitely was a moment where Curious, it could have gone better for him. And from there, when Curious did the counterattack, I think not only was he a little bit too slow, he didn't have to go for the heart, but he just didn't have the defense back at home either.
Yeah.
I think that was where Rain won it. Yeah, it's like, as much as we talk about that big battle, the game was actually won by slowing down the 5th base for Zerg so much.
Yeah, and Rain had all those extra bases. Curious was not able to really harass those because he had to go for the ultimate death ball is what he had to do. And it just didn't have anything to back it up with.
We're going into game number 2. Get ready. Rain against Curious in a fight to move on to the GSL Code S Finals. In the bottom left in the red, he is
My Insanity Rain.
And in the upper right, in the blue, our sir.
SBENU Curious.
So I'm sure many of our viewers are familiar with this, but for those of you who are not, Artosis is a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And
where are we going with this?
Well, no, Artosis said like it was such a vegetarian thing to say. We got here early. And Arto's like, can we go pick up some food? I've only eaten a bell pepper, 7 mushrooms, and some hummus today. I'm like, my God, man!
This is actually really laughed. I don't get why it's funny.
It's so funny to me.
It's funny to me now that you think it's so funny, but I don't really quite get it.
Rain hype. The rain hype is real. A lot of people want to see rain.
Rainy season is coming. But,
I think it's because it reminded me of that thing in Archer where he's like, you guys have any food? I've only had like 5 gummy bears and some vodka.
That's funny.
Gold base build.
Well, that was a nice little drone hide into this. Now
Yeah.
this is kind of like almost a proxy gateway. It looks like it's for an expand. He's going to get up here, see no pool, and be like, "Do you have a gold base?"
I don't know. How does this work with these builds? I'm not familiar with.
His gateway is close enough.
Can you like
that
actually just rush this?
if he chronos out his zealot, the thing is he has he has to like kill a probe to do it. He's going to make a nexus. So
double gold base build. By
this
the way.
is just like kind of a greedy.
This is like
fast
the greediest
expand by
thing.
Rain.
This is the greediest thing I have ever seen Curious is doing. He's taking 2 gold bases.
He's going for gold tasteless. He doesn't want second place.
Nah, no kidding, man.
But
I think he only needs like 10 drones and he can have enough roaches by then to just kill him, man. This is
something like that.
This is crazy.
Rain is going to figure this out very quickly, and like gold bases are a lot of times quite imba and very hard to play against this Protoss. But like,
did you just say imba?
Imba.
We've been casting for years now, and I've never heard you actually say imba.
Well, there you have it.
There you go.
It's a new day.
He's talking like those kids on the forums now.
Yeah, man.
It's just a little OP, in my opinion.
It's a little bad.
It's just a little OP.
OP. Well, the thing is about on this map, that area is so thin in there that force fields are like ridiculous. So you can still bust something. Like Parting would look at this and be like, okay, I need some, some map editor robots, and we're going to get in there. We're going to edit what this map actually is, and there's nowhere for roaches to go.
Are you talking about that unit, the Sentry?
Yes.
AKA the map editor robot?
That is correct.
It's pretty good.
It's all right. It's like, oh, the map is this shape. Nope, now it's this shape. What's up, roaches? The roach is like, oh no, we only have 4 range. Oh. Well, what the map is like, we're not useful anymore.
I don't know how good Rain is at holding gold-based builds. Gold-based builds against Protoss have become so popular and so good, you'd almost be foolish to not do them on any map that you can.
I generally do agree, Tasteless, absolutely. Well,
I don't feel like Protoss have really gotten a definitive answer on how to handle it either, at least from the games that we've been casting.
I think that it really matters on map. For instance, I think that Terminator has done the best job of it on Overgrowth, going for Oracle Blank and just running around and not letting the units catch him. And I think that Parting has shown us multiple times on this map how to just do, like, and other Protosses as well, just like force fields on this map can be sufficient. But this is a double gold build. This is going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough, and he needs a hell of a lot of sentries.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. And this game, the problem is the longer the game goes on, the more of a disadvantage that the Protoss is at. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where you almost can't recover. So you have to have something pretty serious coming from Protoss pretty quickly.
Now, one thing I do want to say
please.
in counter to what you said there, because it's very true. Like, if you don't kill them right off, they have so much. But if they're doing it in a very aggressive style, trying to kill you with it, it comes back around where they mine out.
That is true. Also important to note, though, you don't have to do a rush with this build as Zerg.
That is right. I think that's
a lot
the strongest
of
way
people
to
look at this as like some kind of all-in, but it's not. You can just take a gold base and just have a good economy. And, I mean, you're just going to be in fantastic shape. I mean, the 4th base for Zerg gets...
What is he doing?
No! He needs to get that back. He cannot afford to lose that. Does that work? Oh, yeah, I guess he could just do that.
Just barely, but now it's low health and he's missing 100 energy on it. That was a terrible mistake by Rain.
Yeah, that's almost unforgivable. I mean, you need those time warps not to save the Mothership Core, but to take out the gold base when you attack. He's going to go for a Warp Prism. This is not a bad response, considering he's already got a pylon hidden up there. He can kind of wander around the map, just doing damage here and there. Wow, look we're seeing the sentry drops. We haven't seen these
that he
in
can
several
do
years.
here. Anything. Look, he's getting some Zealots into the main base. You know that if he tears him apart with this is going to bode very poorly for Curious moving on to the finals.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, this is definitely one way to punish the Zerg. Keep in mind that none of these bases are connected by creep. I mean, Zerg does not have that mobility, so even though you'd think people would hold this a little bit easier than they would, not really, actually. The travel time is greatly reduced when you don't have creep highway everywhere.
Indeed the case. We do have more Immortals on the way, more gateways being warped in as well. So Rain really gearing up here. He has to go all in. You can't just sit back and try to play macro against this.
Oh, this would be sick. Okay, but the roaches are coming back. I was going to say, if he dropped there, he could just keep force fielding endlessly and take out that main base pretty easily.
Well, we do have him continuing to fly around with this Warp Prism. See what else he can get done. Just trying to keep him busy, making him make units. It's pretty much, he's got enough drones already anyways. I mean, he could stand to have a few more, but like his economy is really rolling in quite well. So we do have Immortal number 4 being made. And when you have 4 Immortals and a bunch of Sentries, I want to see how Roaches are ever going to kill you in these tight corridors he's going to be attacking into.
Well, this is a good move here by Curious. He's going to open up the main here. And this is a great point to counterattack. But okay, nice save here. Curious had to get back there. That army would have been boxed in and beaten up.
Yeah, I just got half the health off that destructible ice, or whatever we're calling that.
The Debris.
I'm like, well, I guess all ice is truly destructible. I've never heard of adamantium ice. I'm pretty sure that frozen adamantium is just very cold adamantium. It's not called ice. Anyways, we do have a couple more results. I can't believe he hasn't dealt with that pylon yet. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not like it's in a very special location. It's just where the second base would be, behind the minerals. Pretty predictable place to put that. Whoa, Curious not on top of his army here.
There are 12 Sentries here and 4 Immortals. Something tells me Rain should be able to push through here.
Oh my god. Seriously, that Mothership Core is like addicted to pain.
Right now we actually have a lot of units getting on top of the top piece of this army.
Really good force fields there. I mean, can't really ask for better ones than that.
This
completely locks out the Roaches and denies the surround.
That's exactly where Curious wants to engage, though, is that area, because as soon as Rain gets up here, the force field usage is cut in half.
Okay, so now Rain's in that sweet spot. Oh, counterattack. Guess who has bases everywhere? It's Curious. Those Roaches can actually just wipe out everything. This is going to be very difficult here for Rain. Rain is actually splitting up his army now. And
he's got to grab some probes.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do. Okay, and I think if he does this, he should win.
Yeah, just don't really spend very much more money. Have enough to build a Nexus and whatnot.
We do find out what the fate was of that Mothership Core. It is eventually killed off after the 3rd moment when it's been hit by Queens here.
Well, it looks like right now Rain going to go ahead and kill that main base. That's going to leave just the gold left here for Curious. This is going to be a pretty easy kill. Has worked in a bunch of results. Okay, he still has enough money for pylons and like he can build like a...
Hold up. What? Are there any... Oh, no, never mind. Okay, 7 workers here. I swapped who had what workers. I was like, oh my gosh, he only has 7 drones. That means that there's no drones anywhere, but that doesn't make any sense.
It looks like what this will turn into, Tasteless, is just a big defense at Curious's gold base. Like, he'll just be building pylons behind his army as he attacks in, and with this many Immortals and still 9 Sentries, I can't even imagine like how much you would need to hold that in this tiny choke.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be plenty of force fields here for the next engagement. There's always a chance that Rain bungles this, right?
Yeah, you absolutely
it's not easy.
Well, his
I
buildings...
think at this point in time, he should probably just start making pylons.
Well, he has
Wherever he
a
can.
very fixed amount of income, so he's just got to be very careful. He needs to build him right next to his army where he's going.
Pylons are probably a better bet than, let's say, a Nexus here.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, good move there.
That's a safety call right there.
Yeah, that is smart. Put the assimilator up there. He's going to have to actually go past his army if he wants to kill that. Immortals, no problem against the sports. Oh, hold up. This is a pretty scary surround here. And notice, Curious just needs to buy time. He's still mining minerals here.
That is right. And he doesn't have infinity force fields. Oh god, this is starting to go pretty well for Curious. One of those Immortals has, in fact, gone down.
He needs to use that Warp Prism to actually micro in and out and pick up the Immortals. As long as he keeps the Immortals alive, he can win the fight.
That's right. Okay, he still has 3 Immortals. 2 of them do have shields up. One is pretty damaged. Oh, sentries are in the front here.
Well, I guess it doesn't actually matter because...
I think that's just about it, Tasis. I think Curious is going to be able to take this one.
Yeah. Nicely done there. You know, he bought enough time.
Yeah.
GG. 1-1.
This was a strategic error by Rain.
Yeah.
He actually absolutely could have had this game. What he did was he attacked the main base. But he should have killed the gold and then gone to the main because you can hold on to that ramp for infinity time.
I'm going to say something a little bit crazy.
Okay.
There was another way that game could have gone down entirely. That gold base Arctosis was almost mined out. He could have just made a Nexus somewhere on the map. He had a bigger army. He
had 7 probes total. How many drones were at that base? Because he killed all the overlords in the main, basically.
Well, I think he had 14 or something, but then he made a bunch of spine crawlers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he has a warp prism. He can actually fly around. He can have a force fielded off. Just think about this for a second. I don't blame him for doing that. He could harass the Immortals, pick off drones. There was not real anti-air. I mean, Queens hit air, but I don't really consider them like major deterrents for harass. There was another way that Rain could have played that, and it would have been like crazy conservative, but I don't blame him for trying to just go for a kill.
I would have done what he did. For sure. Yeah, and I may have even gone to the main base, but in hindsight, if he kills the gold there and goes to the main, because the thing is, like, he had the window easily to kill the gold, then walk into the main. And if he walks into the main, it doesn't matter how many roaches. Also, Curious could have 700 roaches, and he never gets up the ramp with them.
The thing is, the main in that game is actually the least important base that he had to kill. If he just gets the 2 gold bases, the main's actually mined out. Wasn't it mined out?
No, it wasn't mined out yet.
It was not mined out. But it was probably quite close to being mined out.
The thing is, attacking into there is easy because of all the ramps. So there was like, that's where the real mistake was, I think, there for Rain. But you know, that was a close game.
It's a tough one too. That's when StarCraft gets really tricky. Well, when you have these battles going on everywhere, and it's
hindsight is like 40-40 in these games. It's like anytime a game becomes a base race, it's different than other games, and it's like there's general rules and general laws and like general ideas, but you know, it's very tough to assess everything correctly.
Yeah, you don't always have the proper amount of information.
You don't even have enough time to think it out. If we paused the game for 10 minutes when it started, said, all right, think about what you want to do here, the game looks way different, of course.
Yeah. Well, map 3 is going to be King Sejong Station. It's 1-1 right now. Curious winning that game in a nail-biter. Let's see how game number 3 goes. It's loaded up. Rain against Curious. The winner of this best of 7 moves on to the finals to face off against Biel in the GSL Code S. In the bottom right in the red, he is
My Insanity Rain.
What's so funny?
That little record thing is... Yeah.
In the upper left, in the blue, he is
SBENU Curious.
We should become DJ Tastosis, and what it'll be is I'll start just playing music tracks from other DJs, and you'll be on stage jumping up and down with glow sticks. You just be jumping up and down. Meanwhile, I have like a headset on.
I've got like the glow stick glasses on or whatever over my eyes.
And I'm doing it on like an iPad or something because I'm not a real DJ. And that's where
I still got to get my pair of SBENU shoes,
all
man.
that cool stuff.
Yeah,
I got mine.
you do.
Not on right now.
No,
but
right now we have flip-flops on.
that's right.
Half the time my shoes are out of the flip-flops. People could look up here and see that, like, we look like those guys who would
angle,
walk
I don't
around
think they
barefoot. Don't think they could? We should have lied.
Yeah,
Like we actually wear, like, scuba diving flippers or whatever down here.
We're in Nickelodeon moon shoes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those things.
How could you ever forget about those?
With all the twisted ankles of kids all over the place.
I think at one point in the future, those will be the main mode of transportation.
Nickelodeon moon shoes.
More likely those than a Segway, I got to tell you. By the way, Rain with this build again. Cool. It's kind of, I'm sure he has it mapped out quite well on which maps he can do this and be safe. But like, a lot of people do Gateway at top of ramp as a safety greed build, but this is like a more forward way to do it. It's cool though. I'm interested. I hope that Curious rushes him once so I can get the entire defense down.
I mean, the last game was pretty weird, right? Like, that's not the game that Rain wanted to play.
Yeah.
Curious really took the reins there. This is probably
Took the reins.
Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. Wow. But in this game, it should be more standard.
I think so. But I wonder what Curious will do, because if you want to play a standard game, I don't think you want to play a standard game against Rain here without Swarm Host, because it's like the third is far enough back. It feels good as a defensive player, this map. You know, yeah, the third base of Zerg is pretty far away, pretty hard to attack, but Rain is like, yeah, that's cool, you can do macro. We did that game 1. You saw it turned out.
Although, on this map specifically, it should not end up like what game 1 was. They got to that
Probably
point in time
not.
because they're so far apart.
Yeah.
Nobody can really attack the other one. Fourth base is really easy to take. Fourth base on this map is actually, for Zerg especially, normally the point of contention.
Come to blows a bit quicker on this map oftentimes, but definitely can have long games here. We'll see. Curious, being very economic in his opening, getting those 3 hatches. No gas yet for him. It's kind of the trend to get reasonably quick gas against Protoss so you can get that speed out. Rain, normally not too aggressive early on, so seems safe.
And we have the Sentry starting here. There's no clear tech just yet for Protoss.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit. With this build, you do have the ability to push out with that Stalker. Now, when you have the ability to push out with the Stalker, that means you have the ability to scout with a probe, because the Stalker can drive away anything else. We actually have 2 more gates, and you know what?
Yeah.
You could actually do a rush with this. This is really cool.
I think that's what he's doing,
This
too.
is so smart. I love it. Okay, I love this. So he can, because he gets the probe out, normally when we see them, a Stalker come out and allow a probe to get out of the map, it's so that he can scout or hide a pylon later on. But with this, he can actually just do a rush. Or is he going to do a rush? So hold up, he's going to do Stargate.
Yeah, no. Well, it's a more of a pressure. It's like a 3-gate Stalker, and against someone who goes late speed, this is one of the most powerful counters to it, because it doesn't kill them normally, but it can deal a hell of a lot of damage. So, unfortunately for Rain, he puts that within view of an Overlord. We see a ton of Lings getting started
So
here.
this is probably not going to work at all.
Well, it'll work some. Like, he's already forcing a bunch of Lings out, and he's just going to make Stalkers that he's not going to lose. He's going to just pressure. He can maybe kill a Queen, kill a bunch of Lings, something like that. And it's, like, this is a great, like, as far as these builds go, this goes very well for Rain.
He's going to come out here now. The Lings are going to come around.
Yeah, that's a nice little flank he's trying to do.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that was pretty brave, because he can't warp
crazy.
home now, but
I guess he's going to commit with this. I'm really surprised he did not recall there.
no, he wants to
like-
save the pylon because he has an Oracle on the way, so slow Lings are like garbage next to an Oracle, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty smart, actually.
yeah, I like it. I really like the way that Rain is playing this game right now.
We have the Roach Warren just now starting. 44 probes to 52 drones here. So we're going to have to see if Rain can actually do any additional damage with this.
Ooh, I like this. He's going to go straight over towards the natural here, saying, well, while I'm attacking gateway units, you're not building spores, right? Because that doesn't really make too much sense. But in this case, it would have, because there is an Oracle on his way.
The Oracle can actually be shift-clicked just onto all these drones. And it's going to be a ton of kills, actually.
Yeah. And, well, there's a lot of Zerglings. Those don't help too much. Making a Void Ray right now as protection back at home. But already 7 kills, Tasteless. That is huge.
And he can actually come up here with this Oracle. And the Oracle, by the way, we don't get to talk about this very much, but they kill Lynx very well in a big battle.
Yeah.
So it's certainly handy to have him there. Although this Lynx around is pretty crazy good.
Yeah. He has a lot of Zerglings. Oh, loses that Mothership Core. Another sloppy Mothership Core lost by Rain. But
yeah, he's been not doing so hot with his Mothership Cores as of late. Well, when it's all said and done, they're even on workers.
yeah.
Don't know if that was
You know, Rain only
that
killed.
effective.
Yeah, like seems like Rain made like maybe a little bit of a mistake. He walked a little bit too far out. Like I think strategically, Rain has played this amazingly. Just maybe his engagements with those Zerglings so far haven't been that great.
Well, let's see if he can do any more damage over here. Queen obviously is going to drive them out. The Void Ray probably not a bad follow-up here. He never was able to contest the Overlords early on since there are just so many moments where Protoss was trying to apply pressure. So he needs to clean up these Overlords to give Rain a little bit more freedom and create a little bit more ambiguity in Curious's mind as to what Rain's up to.
And I believe it was at the beginning of last season that Rain was actually in every PvZ making 3 to 4 Void Rays very quickly. And he got eliminated like a little bit early, if I recall correctly, and I was very excited to see, because when Rain does the same thing over and over, it means that he has something figured out. And he has historically been one of the Protosses that actually does truly figure things out. So I would love to see a little bit more of that, but we'll see. It really adds a level of protection in case they do something like a bunch of roaches. Can punish them quite well.
Spire is getting about halfway done here. The third base, this is, by the way, a fairly late third base in a PvZ. We've seen third bases much quicker.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it because it's Rain, but if I was casting somebody else, I would probably be saying Zerg's going to be in good shape, but we see Rain almost always look like this.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Rain's so conservative, he'll even take a disadvantage for the early part of the game if he knows he's going to be fine later on.
Oh, absolutely. That's very much his style. And he is starting to wall everything off. He's getting his +2. He's getting his blink upgrade. Kind of excited to see if we just see a bunch of mutas pop here, because there are there's a lot of scouting going on. Look at this. He's got Oracles coming in one side. He has Phoenixes flying around near the main. And will we see any mutas? Okay, muta attack. Muta's on the way. Already Phoenix is being started though. Yeah. Muttosis is being made.
Muttosis. That's the hero unit. The Artosis Mutalisk is the Muttosis.
It's like a real Mutalisk, but it has 110 health.
It also eats Mechios. Okay, this Lynx around could have been really good. Luckily for Rain, he was paying attention and is going to get the necessary force fields off to actually cause that engagement to be a loss there for Curious. I'm just trying to imagine a Mutalisk with an Artosis voice being like flapping its wings. It's like, I'm not back. Really? You're a Muta? Like Thors and stuff? I don't think you like that, actually.
On those
like, when you're ahead, get more ahead.
We're active units.
It's so stupid. We're oh my god. All I know Artosis is that Mutalisk only had a green pepper, 6 mushrooms, and some hummus this morning. Like, don't know if he's going to have the energy to keep flapping his wings.
Red bell
Here's
pepper.
the thing about Mutalisks is that, have you ever noticed that they can't land? What's the deal with that? I mean, don't they get tired? Look at that, constantly
Sitting is bad for you, Tasteless.
The Mutas are going to live a lot longer.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, because they are long-term units. You want to keep them alive.
I wonder if they could land, they'd just like curl up into a donut or something.
Curl up at the bottom of your bed. All right, well, we do have a little roach attack coming in here. Going to be able to pick off these cannons and then a bunch of probes, no doubt. Phoenix is going after these, but in the meantime, while he has his units over here, it's very hard to defend against these roaches. So the roaches might get a lot of work done over there at the third base.
Well, nice cornering there, taking out those mutas, but This Nexus is going to go down, and that's going to be a 4-base Zerg against a 3-base, or 2-base Protoss, excuse me.
Oh, he might save it, actually.
Oh, seriously? Wow.
For reals.
For realies?
All right, so he is transitioning now into Zergling Hydralisk. Still a bunch of cannons being made, still Phoenixes being made. He doesn't realize that this is occurring. So the Zergling Hydralisk should keep Curious safe against whatever's going on. Some heavy micro with these Phoenixes. You know, when you don't have the range upgrade, you really have to babysit your Phoenixes to kill mutas. And as he sees all these, he's going to have to back up. That is a great counter to what he has here.
Whoa, okay, he's coming up here. Nice force field. He had to get that one off. The Hydras would have had a really good surround there.
You know,
oh, wow. He has a lot more units than I'd realized.
Yeah. Curious has done like quite a nice job, like switching his tech around and trying all that stuff, but Rain has been on top of it, and I think he's totally fine, even though he's taking a little bit of damage. Oh, this is a good move, though.
Yeah.
He can not. Oh, man. He's got to send those Phoenixes right back.
Yeah.
That's very annoying.
Great interrupted mining timing. Not totally clear if Protoss can actually engage here. There's a better arc here. More damage can be dealt there from Zerg if Protoss tries to enter into that. So I think Protoss is either going to have to go back home or try to engage in another part of the map. Because Curious defensively and positionally has been quite good this whole game.
Yeah, you know, if Rain could take out that 4th base, he'd have a gigantic lead, but with that 4th base, Curious absolutely still in it. Still continuing to harass with these Oracles, which are still alive. That's pretty awesome, especially since there's so many mutas on the map. But of course, his mutas continuing to harass as well.
You ever feel like a Mutalisk looks like a shrimp with bat wings?
I think that a shrimp looks like a Mutalisk who lost its bat wings, Tasteless, is what I think.
I think that's the better way to put it.
Like, where's your bat wings, shrimp? It's like, I don't know, I'm dead and I'm food. I'm like, that's right. You can't get away without your wings, can you, shrimp?
That's right, talking undead shrimp. Actually, he's going to be able to get the +3 attack. Look at that.
Ooh, that's a really nice kill.
You know, he just forced his way in here. He can get the Nexus here, too. Now, I don't know if this is a good trade if Zerg keeps engaging like this.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to continue because there's units being made on the high ground.
Blink up on more of that stuff on the high ground. He's going to wreck this.
Yeah, he is going to just absolutely wreck this. Curious is going to end up losing all of these Hydras. That is a hell of a lot of Blink Stalkers.
Took him out. He was like, when it rains, it pours.
Wow. My name isn't Rain, it's Monsoon! And then when he beats Biel in the finals, he's like, my name isn't Monsoon, it's that storm on Jupiter that's bigger than the size of the Earth. It's like, I don't think there's even liquid water there, Rain. That doesn't really, this isn't translating more, buddy.
You've gone too far, man. Yeah, I think he's going to have to back up out of there.
Yeah, good Blinding Cloud. That's a deadly area to defend with Blinding Cloud.
Well, he definitely can get this base over here.
You think? I think he'll be fine. Oh, no, never mind.
Well, Storm is done. Storm definitely what you want to have against Hydras and Roaches.
He's mostly on Stalkers, though. He's got 3 High Templars, 52 Blink Stalkers, and like a couple Sentries. So he's definitely got to like diversify his units. He's got to trade in some of these Stalkers for some other units, I do think, because Hive Tech and all these upgrades and stuff should eventually beat just pure Blink Stalker.
Once again, Rain bringing us into late game and doing it beautifully.
Blinking forward, really punishing this army that's like not even the full army of his opponent. Curious kind of come up here with a little counterattack. And, ooh, you get to actually target that down. It's a nice little snipe.
Yeah, that's actually pretty big. He's going to back up now.
Well, luckily he's already taken another base, but Rain just coming around, going to be able to clean up all of these units. But, you know, it's okay if Curious can continue to hold, and I like the way that he's doing it. He's making a bunch of spines back in the arced areas where he can actually get a big concave and hold on. Because what he wants to do is go back to that Broodlord tech, which will once again make like a super long game if Curious can stay alive.
Well, he's just diving right into those roaches back there. And the same thing over here. Rain, a guy that knows when to blink away and when to blink right on top of the army. I think he should actually, yeah, there we go.
He knows when not to blink as well, Tasteless. Like when microing his units and making decisions whether or not they should blink.
This is, I think this is actually a win here for Rain.
Yeah,
it was, you know, he got a bit technical there in the last few minutes, but he basically outmaneuvered the opposing army, and each time he got into a battle, he was picking fights he knew he would win.
Yeah.
Now he's going to attack in here, and I think he actually can just do this. I believe you can actually just blink right under that.
There's just not quite enough units here. And a couple great side storms going down, really hurting all those Hydralisks.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Rain making this look, you know, this is actually a lot harder than it looks what he did here.
Oh, absolutely.
There were a lot, it was a lot going on the map throughout this game as both players are trying to outmaneuver each other in what was overall pretty typical PvZ, but played at a very high level.
Yeah. You know, I think that one of the main parts here in this game was the fact that Rain was completely on top of the timing of the Mutalisk switch. Yeah. Because when he went into those mutas, if Rain isn't already starting some Phoenixes, isn't already getting a cannon behind his natural, isn't already having his stalkers in position, then Curious kills some probes, gets ahead, like Rain's trying to start all this stuff, he's a little bit late, and then Curious has an edge through all the tech switches. But Rain was on top of that, and that was such an important moment.
I think after that game specifically, Rain is 100% confident he's going to win here.
You think so?
Yeah, he looked really solid. I gotta say though, Curious is playing very, very well.
Yeah, certainly. Curious is bringing some high-level ZVP.
Yeah, it just seems like Rain has a bit better understanding of late game.
Rain is one of the best Protosses in the world, has been basically since he switched over, so...
We are going to go to a short break. When we return, we're going to continue onward with day 2 here of the semifinals at the GSL Code S.